Good evening, happy Halloween, and welcome to part 2.
Do you want party? It's party time!
That's right, it's a series. You didn't know it was going to be a series, did you? Well, it is. One episode a year, every Halloween, we're going to take a crack at House of Hell. And who knows, maybe one day we will survive, but I don't think it's going to be tonight. So, to catch you up real quick, in case you didn't see part 1, in House of Hell you play as a lone traveller making your way to some unknown appointment at some unknown place. We just don't know very much. Point is, it's very important that we get to this appointment, important enough to be driving a car at night on our own in a storm. We get lost and ask a stranger for directions. He gives us bad directions, we get lost even more. Then a ghostly figure appears in the road, we swerve to avoid it and crash the car, wrecking it. That's when we spot a house in the distance and go there to ask for help. That is the setup for House of Hell. Last year I entered the house, met the Lord, drank some wine and was drugged, woke up in a room on the first floor landing and explored a couple more rooms. I believe in the first room I fought a zombie behind a curtain for no gain whatsoever. I mean, it was literally a waste. The second room I explored had nothing in it, but when I tried to leave, a headless ghost appeared and I was frightened to death, literally frightened to the point of death. And that was the end of the adventure. Well, hopefully we will do a little bit better this time around. Now, as you'll recall, with Fighting Fantasy series, first thing you have to do is roll up your character, which we will do now. So, 1d6 plus 6 for skill. Got a 6, very nice. So we have maximum skill. So that's 12 for skill, although because we start the game unarmed, we have to deduct 3 from that, so we have a starting skill of 9. Now the rules are, I don't know, I don't think they're very straightforward in this book, but we use the starting skill of 9 for combat until we find a weapon, although we are allowed to use the initial skill of 12 for any other skill rolls. We'll see if it becomes clear as we read in the book. Next up, stamina, or our hit points for when we're fighting, 2d6 plus 12. Oh, not bad there, we've got a 6 and a 3, which gives us a 9, which gives us a 21 starting stamina. If I get any of this very basic maths wrong, I'll be very embarrassed when I do the editing later on. Got an A-level in maths. Just. Why did I do that? Right, that's because I was talking and thinking at the same time. I rolled 2 there. You only have to roll 1d6 plus 6 to set your luck. Got a 5. Not bad. 11. I'm getting very good rolls this year. Seems to recall we got 1s and 2s for stuff last year. Right, and now we have to set our max fear. It sounds like a name for a children's TV show, doesn't it? Max Fear. Pardon me. Oh, 1. Lovely. Right, so we have a max fear of 7. Alright, no point crying over spilt milk. It's time to get on with it. Okay. Steve Jackson's House of Hell. If you watched the one from last year, you remember a lot of the video was just me flicking pages, although I promised not to sing any Meatloaf this year. I don't know if you're disappointed by that or relieved. Let's go. Is this atmospheric with the fire or not? I was worried it might be romantic, but it isn't, is it? Because it's me. Right. You climb the creaking steps up to the front door and pause to catch your breath. Even though you ran all the way to the drive, all the way up the drive, I'm going to cock up all the reading as well, so please do bear with that. Even though you ran all the way up the drive, I'm going to do it all in one take, so help me. Right. Even though you ran all the way up the drive from the car you are soaked through, your feet are particularly wet, judging by the number of puddles you stepped into in the dark. The drive needs a small fortune spending on repairs, but under the porch you are out of the storm. You brush the rain from your clothes before turning towards the door. The rain is still pelting down, but an eerie silence hangs in the air. No lights are on downstairs. You step back off the porch to check the upstairs window, which has attracted your attention earlier. Nothing, no lights. The whole place seems to be deserted, but then you remember the time, 5 minutes to midnight, which is quite late to be knocking on a stranger's door, isn't it? Everyone in the house has probably gone to bed. An owl hoots in the distance and a shiver runs down your spine. The situation is a little scary. Here you are in the middle of nowhere at some strange, run-down old house and about to wake up whoever lives inside at midnight. They certainly won't be too pleased, as I wouldn't. But you have no choice if you are going to make your appointment tomorrow. The all-important appointment. What did we decide last year? It was going to be something to do with an orphanage or something. Or no, I decided it wouldn't be that. And then I never made my mind up, did I? Whatever. You must reach a telephone to call for help. You step up to the front door. From the left-hand side of the house, a dull glow catches your attention. A light has been turned on. You breathe a sigh of relief. At least someone is awake. You consider your options. There is an elaborate knocker in the middle of the door. A bell pull hanging down to the right. Will you rap the door with the knocker, pull the card, or creep round to investigate the light? I think we're going to creep round to investigate the light. I investigated the light last year, but then after doing that I returned to the front door, which I'm intending to not do this time. Right, so we'll investigate the light again. 289. You walk from the porch round the side of the house. A light is indeed on, and it's shining through a window at the back of the building. Do you wish to go round and see if you can see anything at this window? Or will you walk to one of the other windows along the sidewall to see whether you can enter the house without anyone knowing? Alright, I forgot you could do this. Okay, so last year, I believe I role-played the book as much as I possibly could and tried to do things which would be logical. And I said at this point, well, it wouldn't make sense. Why would this character want to enter the house without anyone knowing? Whereas now it's like, sack it, it's New Game Plus, you know, we've got information. I'm going to try and enter the house without anyone knowing. 137. We'll soon see if this pays off. Got a bad feeling. You walk up to a large window which looks as though it may not quite be closed. But there are heavy bars across it. Even if you were able to open the window, you would never manage to squeeze through the bars. The house is certainly well protected from intruders. Do you want to continue around the house to see where the light is coming from, or return to the front door? Oh, alright then, I guess we're stuck. Let's see where the light is coming from. 3, 4, 5. It's like a Telltale adventure game, isn't it? There's less leeway than it at first appears. The lit window is next to a back door which leads into a kitchen. Voices are coming from the kitchen, but you cannot see anyone. Whoever is in there must be standing by the back wall, out of sight. You strain to hear what is being said. There appear to be 2 people in the kitchen and they are talking excitedly. Again, I'm not going to be doing voices. Master is getting ready. I'm starting to get excited. I've never been to one before. Do you really think we may be visited? Another man's voice, rather more controlled, replies, You know, I'm having doubts about this whole affair. She is so young and she came here in all innocence, which really threw me for a loop last year. I thought this book is taking a dark turn. I promise not to just keep repeating myself and referencing last year's video. At some point we'll diverge. I just don't know. The 2 men walk around the kitchen and you can see them more clearly. They are both dressed in white gowns. One is a good deal younger than the other. Do you wish to knock on the door to see whether they will let you in, or will you wait and listen for a little longer? Let's wait and listen. 68. The younger man turns to the older one and angrily says, The Master's teachings are not for the faint-hearted. You know of his power and his promises to us all. Perhaps you are no longer strong enough to stay with us. The older man turns away towards the window. He is hiding the look on his face, which is one of nervousness and fear. He realises that he has said the wrong thing. No, he stammers. I'll be all right. Just a momentary weakness. Come, let's get on with the preparations. Together the 2 men leave the kitchen, blowing out the candles on the way. You wonder what they were talking about. Now you must choose your next move. Will you try the kitchen door and see whether you can sneak inside, or go back round to the front and knock on the door? Is it really going to force us to knock on the door? Or are we going to be able to sneak in through the kitchen? Well, let's try it at least. 306. The door is firmly locked. Son of a gun. There really is less, room for messing around than I thought there would be. The door is firmly locked. You will not enter the house this way. If you wish, you can knock at the door and try to attract the attention of the 2 men who were talking. If you decide to do this, you must test your luck. If you are lucky, they will hear you and come and investigate. Turn to 190. If you are unlucky, you are out of earshot and they will not get through this way. If you decide against knocking at the door, or if you have been unlucky, you will have to go back to the front door. Right, I'm going to have to test our luck, even though our luck is atrocious. Because it's the only way to avoid just repeating what we did last year. Let's give it a go. The way this works, I have to roll 2d6 and get a score. Is it equal to or less than or equal to? believe it's less than. I have to get a score less than my luck. So I score less than 7, which is the most likely outcome of rolling 2 dice. So let's have a look. I got a score of 6, so that's okay. We were lucky, but now our... You know what, I was looking at... That was all rubbish, by the way. We've got a luck of 11. We've got a fear of 7. God, I'm an idiot. Right, but our luck is now reduced to 10 because we've tested it one time. But we were lucky. Great. If you are lucky, they will hear you and come to investigate. 190. Brilliant. We're on our way to Viridian City. You knock loudly and watch the window. A few seconds later, the 2 men reappear and light the candles. The older man walks towards the door. Turn to 207. What's this? You hear the older man ask. Someone knocking at the door at this time of night? Could it be one of the brethren? I thought everyone was here. The 2 men start whispering to each other in voices too low for you to hear. You wait patiently outside in the rain until eventually the door opens and a voice asks, "Who is it?" Will you tell them about your predicament and ask to use the phone? Or will you claim to be one of the brethren that you heard them talking about? Right, here we go then. So this is our first new decision. Right. If we claim to be one of the brethren, they're undoubtedly going to have some sort of question that will trip us up. But, I don't know, because that older guy, he was claiming sort of misgivings, wasn't he, about Lord Kelnor, who is the master of the mansion. We found that out last year. But we know at least one of them's a fanatic, don't we? Go on, we'll see if we can bluff our way through it. We've got quite good luck if we need to test it again. Will you claim to be one of the brethren you heard them talking about? Turn to 267. Here we go. Indeed, start with a big lie. I've got a feeling we could get found out quite quick. The door opens wide and you are invited in. We thought everyone was here already, says the older man. That's cutting it fine a bit. The others are. He pauses when he sees your face. The 2 men look at each other. What delayed you? You are feeling a little uneasy about the situation and mumble some excuse about your car breaking down. Your car? Says the man slowly. What a shame. I hope it's not too bad. Strikes me as being very sinister. From their reactions you get the distinct impression that you have said the wrong thing. Then it dawns on you that there are no other cars around the house, although according to these 2 everyone has arrived. You try desperately to think of what to say next, and you do not notice that the younger man has crept around behind you. You feel a heavy blow in the back of your head, which knocks you unconscious, lose 4 stamina points, and turn to 173. Right. Well, that's good. So our stamina is now down to 17. Great. 173. So if anything, we're doing slightly worse than last year. (173). You open your eyes, your head is spinning and it is some time before you are fully aware of the fact that your hands and feet are bound. The room you are in is empty, but you work out a plan. You will hop over to the window, break the glass and use it to cut yourself free. Pulling yourself to your feet is awkward, but you manage it. With a mixture of hops and shuffles you arrive at the window. Outside the wind is blowing the rain against the window panes. Will you go ahead and smash the window with your hands, something of a risky business? Or will you instead test your luck? Right. Yep, so this is exactly, we've just found a way, like a little shortcut to this room. We took quite a circuitous route to this last year. We knocked on the front door, spoke to the Lord, drank the wrong wine, and then woke up in this room, in this very predicament this year. We've just immediately got ourselves knocked out before we barely even stepped through the door. Great. Okay. Let's test our luck. I seem to recall that if we test our luck and pass, then we can turn to 136. If we test our luck and pass, then we can just free ourselves without any negative effects. 136. Okay, so we have to get less than 10 on 2d6, which I'm pretty confident about. Yep, 8. Lovely. Well, that takes our luck down to 9. We were lucky. If you were lucky, you managed to escape the splintered glass without harm. Turn to 317. You notice it's not as funny this time around. I'm taking it very seriously. I want to get to the end of this. I mean, I've never ever finished a Fighting Fantasy before. I've always died. One time, I think it was Death Trap Dungeon, I was doing quite well until my character went insane and ran down a corridor and threw himself off a balcony. I mean, fantastic. 317. You cut yourself free and massage your wrists to get the circulation moving again. Then you walk over to the door to try it. It's not locked. You try the handle, open it a little and look outside. Your room is on a first floor landing. Facing the door is a balustrade, and looking over the banisters you can see the entrance hall below. To your left there are two doors in the corner of the landing which runs along to the right. If you wish to go this way, turn to 287. Looking to your right, the landing runs past another door and then turns left. To go this way, turn to 33. Well, we're definitely going to go to the right because we went left last time and it was worthless. So turn to 33. Well, I'm starting to think you're kind of doomed no matter what you do in this book. Oh, look, there's the picture of the the funky skeletons again, wearing his Bob Burnquist hat. You know, the skateboarder from Tony Hawk's 2. And probably other stuff. Turn to 33. It was 33, wasn't it? Oh, that's the peril. I was looking at the skeletons, I got distracted. Yeah, this makes sense. A short distance further along the balcony, you arrive at a door with Azazel written on the name. I do know the name Azazel, but it's from an Iron Maiden song. If you wish to try this door, turn to 358. If you would prefer to continue, turning to the left and following the landing, turn to 229. Go on, 358, let's try Azazel. That was a long one, wasn't it? The door opens and you peer into the room. You quickly check that there is no one inside and are relieved to find it is empty, but full of clutter. Empty but full of clutter. It seems to be a crude scientific laboratory of some sort. A brass telescope points through the window towards the sky. Charts and mathematical tables are pinned to the walls. A human skeleton hangs from a hook. And a bench is covered with glass vials and apparatus. They look like priceless antiques and they were probably all made in the last century. Do you wish to investigate the room further, or would you prefer to leave? Let's definitely investigate further, but before we do I have to show you a picture. That is what the room looks like. I know I've already created a perfect word picture in your mind through that effective reading that I did there. But yeah, I think you should deserve to look at this illustration. I mean, I'm getting a strong Young Frankenstein vibe from this book at the moment. So let's investigate the room, 117. That was me just checking how long I've been going on for. You step into the room and close the door behind you. A squeaking noise from one corner makes you jump, but when you walk over you are relieved to find that the squeaking comes from 3 rats in a cage. You keep your ears peeled for sounds of visitors as you investigate the contents of the room. Do you wish to look through the drawers, examine the liquids in the glass vials, or look through the cupboards? I'm not sure about the cupboards. The cupboards sound like they might have like a skeleton in or something. They would probably knife you as soon as you open them up. Liquids again, dangerous. We've had bad luck with liquids in this house before, drinking the spiked wine. Let's go for the drawers. Turn to 81. And ideally I'd like to examine them all, to be honest. 81. In a drawer underneath the bench you find a few ornate letter openers. Perhaps they are someone's collection. You are particularly interested because they are strong and dagger-like. In fact, they could easily make dangerous weapons. You may take one of them if you wish, and as a weapon it will allow your skill to increase to its initial value if you use it in a fight. Great, so now we don't have to... Yeah, so we can use the... Good. Now turn to 385. I tell you what, I'll write down, I was umming and ahhing over whether I do that. I will write down letter opener in our items in the correct part. God, idiot. Letter opener. Cool. Turn to 385. Things are looking up, we have armed ourselves. Although what good a letter opener is versus a ghost, I'm not really sure. Right near the back, 385. 385, right. Suddenly your ears pick up at the sound of footsteps coming closer. You nip into the shadows and wait. The footsteps stop outside the door and you can hear two voices talking. "Hadn't we better ask the master's permission?" one asks. Maybe you're right, and we'd better get a light for the lamps." You breathe a sigh of relief as the footsteps disappear off in the direction you approached, the room. You decide it's best to leave before they return. You open the door onto the landing. The safest way to go, it strikes you, is away from the two visitors who may return at any moment. If you approach this room from the left, turn to 229. If you came from the right, turn to 26. Oh, what? What does that even mean? Right, so that's terrible. Do you not think? So we were in the room on the first floor landing, which was in the middle of the landing. We turned right to walk down the corridor, and the room is on the end. So you approach the room from the left. So looking back, that would be the left? If you approach the room from the left in regards to what? That doesn't make any sense. The safest way to go, it strikes you, is away from the two visitors who may return at any moment. If you approach this room from the left, right, what? Turn to 2... I'm sorry, this is going to take me about half an hour to work out. What did the visitors do? You breathe a sigh of relief. The footsteps disappear off in the direction you approach the room. Off in the direction you approach the room. I presume that should say from. Footsteps disappear off in the direction you approach the room. You decide it is best to leave before they return, and you open the door onto the landing. The safest way to go, it strikes you, is away from the two visitors who may return at any moment. If you approach this room from the left, I'm trying to visualise it. I think I approached the room from the left of the room. As you're looking out from the room, it would be from the room's left. But I turned right to head to the room. But it depends where you're looking at it. If you stood outside the room, looking at the door to go into the room, I approached it from the right. But if you're stood inside the room, looking out at the hallway, I approached it from the left. I've no idea what the book wants me to do now. If you approach this room from the left, right, I'm going to presume it wants me to look at the situation as I am now. So as I am now, I'm stood inside the room looking out. And from that perspective, I approach the room from the left. I can't, but this is a nightmare. So I approach from the left, turn to 229. We'll soon find out. I'm going to stick my finger in there in case I've made a mistake. So I'm not cheating now, because that is the standard form of cheating with this book. You stick your finger in the passage. I'm not making a joke about what I just said. You follow the landing round until you reach another door on the right hand side. A nameplate identifies it as Erasmus room. No, hang about. Yeah, right, sack it. We'll carry on. Erasmus room. Because I can't believe I'm still going on about it. If they disappear from the direction I came from, I wouldn't want... Yeah, I can't be heading back that way, so... If I was heading back and I wound up at the Balthazar or the Diabolus room, which is from last year, then I would have been going the wrong way. But because I've come to a new room, because I've gone the opposite from a... Yeah, this is right, isn't it? Yeah, sack it. If you wish to enter this room, turn to 140. Yeah, I definitely do. Erasmus. I hope this is a bit more straightforward. 140. Very exciting. You grasp the handle and turn it. The door is locked and looks too sturdy for you to break down. Will you turn towards the door at the end of the corridor, or go back the way you came, carrying on past the room from which you originally appeared? It's so convoluted, but I guess that's a... Like, in a video game, this would be so easy, wouldn't it? But because you're just sort of like jumping from passage to passage in a book, it's mental. The book's got to be like Pegasus Maximilian from Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, when he writes down the instructions for the little boy when he's playing the card game tournament, and that predicts Bandit Keith's moves like at every turn, and he follows the instructions. It's a pre-written set of instructions. In my head, the comparison I just made total sense. Right. Will you turn towards the door at the end of the corridor, or go back the way you came? Well, let's carry on. 332. There's no point going back. 332. This really is a lot of page flipping, isn't it? 332. Oh, this is good. At the end of the corridor ahead of you is a stout wooden door. While you are considering whether or not to try this room, a noise behind you startles you. You spin around only to find the wind is rustling wall hangings. There is nothing to be afraid of. You turn back and are amazed to find a faint white figure has appeared in front of you. This apparition is a young woman. There's lots of young women in this house. In her early 20s with long flowing hair. Sounds nice. She is dressed in a white bridal dress which has been seen better days. It is ripped and torn. That look there. Oh, thank God I have found you in time, she says. I must talk to you immediately. No problem. Come, let us go into this room. I quite like the turn this book is taking. Will you follow her into the room? Defo. I'm not even reading the other choices. Turn to 73, and there is a... That can't be a picture of her, surely not. No, well, I'm going to show you the picture. I don't think that's the woman we just met. It looks like a ghost. But she's wearing a torn dress. But it's clearly a ghost. So you can see the floor through her dress. Strange. Yeah, 73. We're definitely following this woman into a room. To enter the room, she passes right through the door. Oh, so it was a ghost. Did it say I was a ghost and I just missed it? It's okay. She passes right through the door. Yeah, I'm disappointed now. It's a ghost. Oh. You, of course, must use the traditional methods. It's turned to a comedy book. You turn the handle and walk in to the Apollyon room. It is an elegant bedroom. But bear in mind, she is a ghost. Right, fine, floor-left curtains hang along one wall. An enormous bed with lace coverings is against another wall. I get the feeling this book is trying to lead me one way, but she's a ghost. And opposite stands a beautiful dressing table with a huge mirror. Oh, I need to remind myself to make some sort of Luigi's Mansion joke at some point. If I don't get around to it, I'll see this bit in the editing and kick myself. The woman hovers in the centre of the room and bids you sit down on the bed. This really is... I mean, with every sentence, I'm becoming more and more certain of what I think should happen. At the same time, I know it can't because she's a ghost and this is a family-friendly book. Whatever. Your coming here has been no accident, she starts. And I must warn you of the terrible dangers you will face here. This house is ruled by the Master, a powerful black priest of the night named Kelnor, Earl of Drummer. I would guess that you are to be offered to the demons of Hellfire if you survive that long. Yesterday they trapped a girl, a pretty young district nurse who happened to call. See, just one thing after another. There's a young nurse knocking about that we could probably run into. Is this... I mean, it's definitely not a pornographic book, is it not? It's me, innit? It's all in my head. I'm the scumbag. There's nothing wrong with this book. There's nothing suspect about this book at all. But I'm a creep. So, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll just keep going and see what happens. No. She is to be offered tonight. I can't let this devilry continue. There must be some way it can be stopped. If you can find the Chris knife, you might defeat Kelnor, for this weapon is his only weakness. Please help me. You will probably find it in... No! Oh, she's got to tell us. Quick, we are discovered. I can hear the hounds. Go, leave this room. The hounds. You stand up. She was right. You can hear barking getting rapidly closer. She motions you, pointing to the door. You run to the door and peer outside. Nothing. The barking gets louder, and you turn back towards the ghost, who seems to be struggling with something. She is involved in a fight with two huge ghostly Great Danes, which are snapping and clawing at her. You take a step forwards, but it is hopeless. You cannot help, as you cannot even touch the beasts. And your help would have been very welcome, because the dogs are much too powerful for her. She is weakening, and as she does so, her image fades. Moments later, she disappears completely. Satisfied that their job has been done, the two Great Danes disappear also. Oh, poor girl, I feel sorry for her now. Especially considering all those horrible things I was thinking about 10 minutes ago. There's a joke. It was a joke, and I regretted making it as soon as I did. You are alone. Now what will you do? Do you want to help her as she asked, or would you rather just escape from the house? I know we can't escape from the house, so let's help her. Turn to 257. probably should be singing Meatloaf, so it'd be better than just like humming and making stupid noises. You consider your best plan as you walk down the passageway. You turn right along the landing, and 2 doors are on your left. Oh, and about directions. So, which door are we out of now? You turn right along the landing, and 2 doors are on your left. The first has Azazel written on its nameplate, and the second, Mephisto. We've done this already, haven't we? Do you want to try either of these rooms? If so, you may enter the Azazel room by turning to 358, or the Mephisto room by turning to 298. Oh, I've got a feeling I have messed up somewhere along here, but I feel I can hardly be blamed for that. This book is atrocious. I know I've said this is a yearly thing, but I may pick a new book next year if this doesn't get any better. I mean, do comment if you're following this. If you're going, no, Mark, it's easy. I can't believe you don't understand that. It's dead easy. Do comment and explain. But I'm completely lost. Mephisto and Azazel. I'm sure we've just been in them. But yeah, because I mentioned about Azazel, didn't I? Oh no. Otherwise, you may pass both these rooms and walk along to where the landing turns right by turning to 287. 287 it is, because we've been in Mephisto and Azazel. I don't want to run circles around myself. Right. 287. You walk up to the 2 doors in the corner of the balcony. The one on your left is named Balthus, and the one in front of you has no name. Right. The Balthus room contains the zombie standing around hiding behind a curtain for no apparent reason. I don't know, for comic effects or something. And the no-name door leads to a small corridor with a window, and then another room, which will be the Diabolus room, which is where the Headless Ghost comes and scares you to death. So we're not going to go in either of these rooms. If you choose to ignore these doors and continue around the landing, turn to 193. That's exactly what we're going to do. A short distance further on, you come to the top of the main staircase, which leads downwards. Immediately opposite the staircase is an unmarked door. Do you wish to go downstairs, try the unmarked door, or will you continue round the landing? Let's try the unmarked door. 377. Right. You step into a small storeroom and close the door behind you. There are shelves on the left and right, on which various household objects are stored. In front of you, in the wall facing the door, is another door. What do you want to do? Will you search through the things on the shelves, try the opposite door, or return to the landing? Let's search through the shelves, turn to 83. Various items of crockery, cutlery and food are kept in the storeroom, including a sharp meat knife, which you might like to hide under your coat to use as a weapon in the future. This sharp knife will allow you to add 3 skill points in a fight. On one shelf you find several cloves of garlic, which you may also take. Definitely taking the garlic. It's good against vampires, isn't it? I think. Or is it werewolf? No, it's definitely vampires. Which you may also take. There is also an unlabelled bottle of white liquid on another shelf. If you wish to drink the liquid, turn to 362. If you would prefer to ignore the liquid and try the door at the back of the storeroom, turn to 255. Your only other alternative is to leave by the door you entered and return to the landing. Now I know I shouldn't drink the liquid, but the only other option is just to leave it. I mean, I can't take it with me and find out later on, so the only way to find out what it does is to drink it. The book's kind of got me stuck here, because I really do wish to drink the liquid. Pardon me. God, I'm an idiot. 362. You taste the liquid. It is white wine. Oh, no, it's his white wine thing, isn't it? Remember, we drank the white wine last year. It was poison. It's white wine. You drink some more and it warms you. You start to feel a little lightheaded and dizzy. Then suddenly you feel a stab of pain in your stomach and you double over. But there is no relief from this pain because you have drunk a bottle of poisoned wine. Oh, I should have known. In a few moments you will lose consciousness, and in 5 minutes you will be dead. You will never make tomorrow's appointment after all. God What a waste. I'm tempted now to just sort of hit stop, turn the lights off, turn them back on again, and I'll walk over as if nothing happened. Hello, happy Halloween, welcome to House of Hell, part 2, blah blah blah, and then, but it would spoil it. I'm not I'm not an actor, so I wouldn't be able to pretend I don't know the things God damn it. Well, it was a bit of a waste. You know what I said? I said to myself before I started this, that if I die within the first 10 minutes or so, then I'll have another attempt. Even though I said it would be like 1 attempt a year, I would break that rule if I died within the first 10 minutes. But nothing has happened. I pretty much repeated myself from last year. We tried a few new things, got utterly confused, possibly lost and broke the logic of the game at some point in there. But it's been going for like 40 minutes. Well, I hope you enjoyed that anyway. Damn it. I even made a special little diagram there to remind myself of what happened last year. Have a little look at the diagram I made of the landing there. I'll expand that next year. I was hoping I would learn a bit to sort of help us out. Well, join us again in 2016 for part 3 of our House of Hell Let's Play. We now know not to drink the little white vial, which was kind of obvious, wasn't it? I mean, I bet if there was anyone with me who was saying, yeah, Mark, I would have drunk the white bottle as well, just to find out what it was. Oh, not in real life, obviously, but when I'm playing the game, I've got a feeling no one will have done that, but I can't help myself. It's like I said when I was playing, was it Rebel Planet or Starship Traveller, when I force-fed that yellow powder to one of my crew members just to find out what it did, and it killed him. I should have known. These books have got form killing you off for your curiosity. Happy Halloween, see you next year.
Do you want